Accessing peace. Existing without violence, with the ability to calmly resolve conflict. Downloading love. An overwhelming, deep, positive affection towards others. Activating liberty. Living your life as you see fit without infringing on the lives of others.
Welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism, the friendliest anarchist you will ever meet. And, you know, this past weekend was absolutely crazy from a news perspective. If you were not paying attention to the news, normally I would say, you know, like, shame, but this time I will say congratulations, good for you. Your sanity is probably still intact. And why do I say that? Well, if you have been paying attention to the news, then hopefully you know what I'm talking about. There was this gathering, if you will, down in Charlottesville, Virginia, where a bunch of white supremacists decided to get together and do something that they were calling hashtag Unite the Right. And they were going to protest against a statue of Robert E. Lee being removed from what had previously been Robert E. Lee Park, had since been renamed to Emancipation Park. And then there were another group of people, largely being called Antifa, whether or not the people there as counter-protesters were, you know, part of Antifa or not. That's the label that's being thrown out. And technically, you know, like anybody that is opposed to fascism, technically the term anti-fascist would apply, technically. But the term Antifa has been taken by this group of people that are opposed to fascism in a particular way, and then they want basically, you know, like government to step in and stop people from saying things that they think are promoting fascism, whether those things are actually promoting fascism or not. And both sides are absolutely horrible here. And this is one of the things that, you know, the mainstream media and society by, you know, what's the term? Writ large, I guess would be a correct term to use. Society, particularly American society, buys into this whole weird binary option thing to where, oh, you're not in favor of the white nationalist Nazis, then you must support Antifa. Well, no, I can oppose both of those groups. It's the whole thing, and I know that I've mentioned it before, to where people will ask, you drink Coke or Pepsi? Well, I prefer RC Cola, but no, that's not Coke or Pepsi. Well, Dr. Pepper, but that's not Coke or Pepsi. Damn it, answer my binary option question, and don't give me one of these fill-in-the-blank answers. But no, I don't buy into your false binaries. In the real world, it's not Coke or Pepsi. Sure, you know, you can like Coke, you can like Pepsi, you can like both Coke and Pepsi. You can abstain from soda altogether. Like, there are numerous choices other than just Coke or Pepsi. There are numerous options other than support the white supremacist or support Antifa. I can believe that they're both wrong. And based on the videos that I've seen, it appears as though individuals from both sides initiated aggression. Now, there could be, you know, this broader thing of, well, somebody from that side threw the first punch. It doesn't matter Because unless you actively are being, attacked, assaulted, aggressed upon, then you don't get to defend yourself. Now, yes, you could be, assisting someone else in defending themselves, but that's not what I saw in the videos. What I saw in the videos was two groups of violent individuals attacking one another. And again, it doesn't matter if somebody from that group threw the first punch and then you respond by pepper spraying somebody that did not throw the first punch. That's what I saw in the videos. Both sides, absolutely horrible, despicable human beings. They should all be ashamed of themselves. And this whole, false binary of you either support the white nationalist or you support Antifa, it's a false choice. And buying into that does not bring about a better world. And that's what I want. I want a better world. I want a more peaceful world. And really the way you get a more peaceful world around you is to find peace inside you. To sort of, take a quote from Gandhi, and yes, I realize it's slightly out of context here, but be the change you want to see in the world. If you want a peaceful world, you need to have that inner peace. And I've got an article here, and it's something that it's been in the show prep for a while, and it just feels right that now is when it actually winds up making its way onto the show. It is, as a lot of the show prep comes from lifehack.org, it's a list of 30 small habits that will lead to a more peaceful life. And again, if you want a peaceful world, you need a peaceful life. Now, that's not to say that, you find all the inner peace that you want, and there's still going to be some, schmucks and yahoos causing problems. But, again, you need to be that change that you want to see in the world. So if your response to everything is escalate violence, then there's only going to be more violence. What's the phrase? An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. At some point, just stop and find that inner peace. Stay tuned. Here to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. That's getcell411.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. We'll jump into the list of 30 small habits to bring about a better, more peaceful life. But first, I've got a question for you. Have you been paying attention to Bitcoin lately? It's skyrocketing. It shot past 3,000 and then past 3,500 and then past 4,000. And last I looked, it's somewhere near 4,300-ish. And again, that's as of the time I'm recording this on Monday, August 14th, mid-afternoon. So if you like me, you have some Bitcoin and Might not be a full Bitcoin, but hey, you've got some of it, and maybe you like to spend that as an alternative to using the government's backed fiat currency. Well, if so, you need Spend-A-Bit in your arsenal. Spend-A-Bit is the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend-A-Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Spend-A-Bit. Use my affiliate link, spendabit.fppradio.com. And if you're a Bitcoin accepting merchant like I am, ask about their merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.fppradio.com. So let's get into this list of 30 small habits to lead to a more peaceful life. And again, this could not have come up at a better time. And number one is, well, it's number one for a reason, the most appropriate. Don't show up to every fight you're invited to. And again, in light of what happened over the weekend, I think a lot of people should take this advice. Don't show up to every fight you're invited to. And now, if I'm going to, sort of veer off a little bit, and the people on, quote unquote, the right, those white nationalists that showed up for their Unite the Right rally, they wanted a fight. They wanted to be able to say, look, I'm being oppressed. These people are trying to silence me. They hate free speech. Well, maybe they hate free speech. Maybe they just hate your speech. And to the Antifa that showed up to try to, get into a fight with some white nationalist, you just walked right into the trap that they had laid for you. Don't show up to every fight you're invited to. And again, I think both sides are wrong, and I'm not going to say that one side is more wrong than the other. They're both wrong. And if the goal is to have a more peaceful world, and I've heard some of the white nationalists make this claim of, I want peace, then why are you showing up to a fight? Don't show up to every fight you're invited to, particularly when you're around those who thrive on chaos. Be willing to decline an invitation to join in on the drama. Number 2 on the list, again, of 30 small habits to lead to a more peaceful life. Focus on your breath. Throughout the day, stop to take a few deep breaths. Keep stress at bay with techniques such as square breathing. You breathe in for 4 counts, you hold it for 4 counts, and then you breathe out for 4 counts. And again, you hold just, empty lungs for 4 counts. Repeat this cycle 4 times. And, this is a meditative practice. There are lots of different ways that one can meditate, but from what I've found in my research of meditation, what works for me, and again, what works for me might not work for you, and that's one of the wonderful things about this thing that we call life, to where everybody has different things that work for them. But the things that work for me, as far as meditation, are the meditations where I focus on my breathing and the guided meditations. I love a good guided meditation. Now, I'm not going to divert off on the benefits of meditation, but that has been something discussed on this program before. And again, the breathing meditations are ones that really work for me. For some people, focusing on the breathing doesn't help them meditate. They wind up, getting all panicked of, am I breathing properly? But the point of meditation is to relax and clear your mind. And I love the term that Brian Sovereign gives to meditation. He calls it zero tasking. And I will admit, I don't do this often enough. I need to do this more. And it's one of those things that, you really need to set time aside for. Well, what's the quote of spend 20 minutes per day in nature, but if you're really busy, spend an hour, something of that sort. And same with meditation. If you're really busy, you need to spend more time doing it. Number 3 here on the list of small habits that lead to a more peaceful life: get organized and purge old items. A cluttered space often creates a cluttered spirit. Take the time to get rid of anything you have not used in a year and invest in organizational systems that help you sustain a level of neatness. Number 4, and again, one that I definitely need to listen to very carefully: stop yourself from being judgmental. Now, when I say this, it's more that I judge myself very harshly. I am my own worst critic. But also works with judging others. When you're tempted to have an opinion about someone else's life, check your intentions. Judging others creates and promotes negative energy. Stay tuned. There's more here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, going through this list of 30 small habits to lead to a more peaceful life.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Fueled in the beginning by his unsettling thoughts and emotions, he learns how to find peace with everything he has woken up to. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Hey, welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. Say thank you early and often. Start each day with an attitude of gratitude. Look for opportunities in your daily routine and interactions to express appreciation. As Lewis Howes, the host of the School of Greatness podcast, would say, find something to be grateful for. So however you want to say it, start the day, sort of on the right foot. And I know I'm fairly certain I've mentioned it before, and again, a reference to the School of Greatness podcast, one that I began listening to a couple of years ago when I started my transformation of getting back into shape and sort of, refocusing a lot of things. Most people, and when I say most, I mean, a sizable percentage. It might not be over 50%, but it's definitely, larger than the people that start their day in a different way. But, a very sizable percentage of people wind up starting their day thinking of all the negatives about themselves. They might not see it that way, but you spend time in the mirror. Oh, I need to fix my hair. I need to do this. I need to make myself look presentable. And that subconsciously says, the way I am presented right now is not good enough. So if you instead start with, I am good enough, and I just need to alter, the presentation here to where you're shifting from there's something wrong with me to I need to just tweak the way I'm presented. I am good enough. I just need to tweak this presentation a little bit. To where there are some people, and I forget exactly what I was watching, but many years ago, there was, I think, either Al Sharpton or Al Franken. One was on one of these late night talk shows, and they were asked a question about rap music and hip hop. And they gave a response along the lines of, well, some of the artists say, I'm just a mirror and I'm reflecting what actually happens. Well, when you look into a mirror, you look into the mirror, and if you've got a booger hanging out of your nose, you're not going to be like, well, that's real life. You're going to clean it up. You're going to use that to clean up the presentation. And again, that's not to say if you've got a booger hanging out of your nose, there's not something fundamentally wrong with you as a human being. You just need to, wipe it off, clean it up. So you can use mirrors for, good and, I'm going to, make this presentable, or you can use it for bad of, well, it's just horrible, and I'm going to show the world what the horribleness is. Moving on, number 6, smile more. There are scientific benefits to smiling and laughing. Also, pay attention to your facial expression when you're doing neutral activities such as driving and walking. Number 7, don't worry about the future. As difficult as this sounds, there's a direct connection between staying in the present and living a more peaceful life. You cannot control the future. As the old saying goes, worry is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere. Practice gently bringing your thoughts back to the present. Now, again, this is not to say that, you shouldn't have some kind of plan for the future of, don't know where I'm going to wind up getting money to pay my bills or eat any food, but doesn't matter. I'm living for now. You need to have, some kind of plan, but don't worry. And there's a huge difference between planning and worrying. Number 8, eat real food. The closer the food is to the state from which it came from the earth, the better you will feel from eating it. So basically, stay away from stuff that has been largely processed. Number 9, choose being happy over being right. And this is something that a lot of people, especially those involved in politics, wind up missing here. To where, it's okay to be wrong occasionally, but when you are wrong, you should learn why you're wrong. And the way they have it written here, too often we sacrifice inner peace in order to make a point. It's rarely worth it. Number 10, they say keep technology out of the bedroom. Many studies, such as one conducted by Brigham and Women's Hospital, have connected blue light of electronic devices before bed to adverse sleep and overall health. To make matters worse, many people report that they cannot resist checking email and social media with their cell phone if it is in reach of the bed, regardless of the time. Number 11, and this is something that too many people wind up not doing. Make use of filtering features on social media. You might not want to unfriend someone completely, however, you can choose whether to follow their post and or sources of information they share. Going back to basically number 1 on the list, don't show up to every fight you're invited to. That also includes online. Stay tuned. There's more here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
In 1999, Darryl W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Of the book, Dr. Brian Sovereign says, sometimes it's funny, and sometimes I think it's crazy, but it's always authentic. Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Darryl W. Perry on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com.
Hi, this is Davi Barker from ShinyBadges.com, and you're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism, going through a list of 30 small habits to lead to a more peaceful life. We're on item number 12 right now, which means I need to speed through this. As always, the link will be in the show notes. You can read it at your leisure. Number 12, get comfortable with silence. When you picture someone who is the ultimate state of peace, typically they aren't talking, which ties into number 13, somewhat listen to understand, not to respond. Let me repeat that. Listen to understand, not to respond. Too often people will, quote unquote, listen just long enough to where, all right, yep, they said this word, so here's my default response. And they formulate a response while the other person is talking. They're not paying attention to what's being said. They're just waiting for the other person to stop talking so that they can respond. Instead, actually listen to understand. Number 14, put your troubles in a bubble. Say here, visualize that your troubles have been wrapped up in a bubble, and then they float away. Number 15, speak more slowly. Now, there are some people that wind up saying that if you talk slowly, that means you're stupid. Well, no, it doesn't. Could just mean that you're thinking carefully about what you're saying before or as you're saying it. Number 16, don't procrastinate. Buy a coloring book, and I'm going to skip the numbers here and just read off the headlines. Prioritize yourself, forgive others, check your expectations, engage in active play, stop criticizing yourself. I'll repeat that one. Stop criticizing yourself. Focus your energy and attention on what you want. Number 24, assign yourself complaint-free days. That means no complaining. 25, surround yourself with people you truly enjoy being in the company of. 26, manage your money. Stop trying to control everything. I'll repeat 27 again. Stop trying to control everything. 28, practice affirmations. Again, that start of the day, look in the mirror. Tell yourself you're good enough. You're worthy of whatever you want to happen. Number 29, they say get up before the sun rises. And number 30, be yourself. As always, link will be in the show notes. And don't forget, every Friday I answer your questions. Send those over, ama.fppradio.com.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copy Heart. We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. Love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News, and also get a copy of the monthly newspaper FPP News. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.